Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me in today's video where I will be using some new makeup from SUQQU. So I picked up a few products from their pre-holiday collection and I actually am still pretty new to this brand. A few months back I did do a first impressions on their first highlight and cheek palette. It's actually called, I do have it right here, it's called the SUQQU Powder Blush Compact in 101. I'll go ahead and show it to you guys. So this one right here, I will make sure to post that video towards the end of today's if you guys want to check it out and see these colors in actions. It is still available. This is such a gorgeous palette. I was beyond happy after using this and discovering the brand for the first time. So after I tested that out, I was more curious on the brand, but I really didn't know where to start off with. So I figured moving forward, I'll keep an eye out, check out their new releases. If anything intrigues me, then I'll go ahead and pick it up. And that brings us to today's video. So for the pre-holiday collection, SUQQU released two eyeshadow palettes. I picked up one of the two and another one of these blush and highlighter palettes, and of course I had to pick that up as well. In the collection, what's also included are two lip products. I didn't pick up any of them, but I have heard really good reviews on the formula, so maybe in the near future I'll try one of those out. Now before we go any further with today's video, if you guys are new to my channel, hello and welcome. I am Suzana and I love talking about makeup. Luxury and high-end makeup is my focus on my channel. So if you guys are into those luxury brands, make sure you hit subscribe and you follow me on Instagram. Let's start with the eyeshadow palette. It is a very sleek, beautiful, simple type of packaging that I just adore. It has the name SUQQU embossed vertically, and you do get a sizable mirror that opens straight up. I enjoy that so much in my palettes. I'm quite blind, so I need to be able to put this as close to my face as possible. And another thing I do want to mention about this is, because I will forget, I always forget to mention these kind of things, these do have those little holes in the back where if you were to stick a little pin in there, the eyeshadows will pop out, so you can customize this palette however you'd like to. Now this palette comes with what appears to be 4 different formulas. The first one's a very shimmery, glittery, then we have like a light mauve satin formula, followed by this beautiful bright pink, almost fuchsia shade. This is also a satin, but it's filled with a lot of shimmer. And then the last shade, this brown one, is the only matte. Now I do want to point out that the matte shade did swatch a little patchy. It also feels quite dry to the touch, but that is typical with some matte formulas, so I'm not going to judge it based off of that. We'll see how it performs. At the end of the day, that is all that really matters. Since I've never tried any eyeshadows from this brand, I'm extra excited. I have heard really good things. I've watched other videos of people reviewing other eyeshadow palettes from SUQQU and they look gorgeous. So I hope that this one performs really good. By the way, the name of this one is 136 Kilmani. Let's go ahead and get started with this eye look. I'm using my Wayne Goss number 17 brush and I'm going to dip into this bright shade here. I'm really going to pack on the shadow and I want to apply this all over the lid. So I'm going to start packing this. The pigment is there. I see no patchiness. This is a very nice, super vibrant color, very much in theme with this season's trendy shades. There have been a lot of pink and reddish eyeshadows that have been releasing lately, so I want to just embrace that. I really like pink eyeshadow. I don't wear it like super often because I mean, I guess it's honestly not the most wearable thing ever, but depending on how you apply things, we can always make them a little bit more wearable. But Right now, I just want to play with this palette, get to know these eyeshadows and the formula. So I don't really have a plan for the look that I'm going to create. No surprise. The edges ended up blending real easily. I will say I used concealer today to prime my eyes, which is not something I typically do. I just ended up applying a little too much, so I just dragged it over my eyelids. And I do regret it. It just looks kind of funky. But we're gonna apply eyeshadow over that, so hopefully it doesn't matter all that much. Alright, so next I'm gonna pick up this Sephora brush. It's the Precision Crease Brush. And I'm going to dip into this shade up here. So I picked up a pretty decent amount there. We'll tap off any extra eyeshadow we picked up. And I'm gonna start blending this inner portion right above the crease. Yeah. And then I'm gonna start bringing it outwards all the way through. Even just using these two shades, how I have it on right now, I think is a perfectly complete look. I mean, besides having to apply some mascara, maybe a little bit something on the bottom lash line. But really, as far as the eyeshadow, we can stop here. I'm not going to, I'm just saying we can. Now using this Wayne Gloss number 18 brush, I'm gonna go into the matte shade here. I did notice that this one has a lot more kick up. When I went in to tap off the excess, there was a bigger cloud of pigments that brushed off, so we have got to be careful with this shade. Now I picked a flat brush because I want to lay the color down before I go in to blend. Okay, I thought it was going to be a lot deeper than this, considering how much I picked up. Okay, we're able to build up on it. So I'm pretty much just placing and pushing it in this way. Now with a small clean brush, this is the Sonia G Mini Booster, I'm going to start blending this. Wow, these blend so easily. I did make kind of a mess there, but I'll clean that up in a little bit. That blended really well. I just wiped off the number 18 brush and I'm gonna pick up this shade here. And I'm using this as a topper, so I'm applying it lightly all over the lid. Okay, I want a little bit more than that. Picked up a little bit more to apply in the inner corner. So the shimmer looks nice, but I do want it a little bit more intense. So I'll be going in with my finger now and see if I can layer this, pack it on a little better. Okay, there we go. The finger is always better, you guys. picking up more of this brown shade using a flat definer brush, I'm going to line my top lash line. Not all of it, so just kind of the outer portion, I think. Sometimes I change my mind. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just going to add it to the outer, maybe like 1/3. And I also line the bottom lash line with this. I'm back with my Sephora brush and this shade here, just on the tip so that we can blend out this brown shade. The eyeshadow is complete. I'm just going to go ahead and apply some mascara. I'm going to use my Too Faced Damn Girl Mascara and apply a pretty heavy coat on my top and bottom lashes. All done with the eye makeup using the SUQQU 136 Kilmani Eyeshadow Palette. Solely on first impressions, this little eyeshadow palette performed really well. I liked the blendability of it. I liked the pigments I got from all of these shades. The matte brown shade did have to be built up a little bit, but it wasn't intense. Like, I did not have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth several times. If I was doing it, it was more because I was being careful with the placement of the eyeshadow, but not so much because there was actually a lack of pigmentation. So like I said, I'm impressed. This is a first impression, so as of right now, that's really all I have to say about this palette. And I'm really happy with this eye look. Now, did I need this palette? Not necessarily. I do have other eyeshadows in my collection where I could have created a very similar look. Like I said, I wanted to try out the formula. The other eyeshadow palette reminded me a little bit too much of my Tom Ford African Violet palette. I really like that Tom Ford palette and I need to use it more often, which is why I didn't want to get the SUQQU one, because I want to give my Tom Ford one more lovin'. I'm a huge fan of Tom Ford. So yeah, I wanted to prioritize that palette, which is why I decided to pick up this one. And also because, like I said, these are tones that are very much in trend right now in this makeup world. So very happy with this. Now to move on to the face. So I'm going to scoot you guys back just a little so that my whole face is in frame. And let's get into the cheek palettes. It's actually called the SUQQU Palette Blush, and this one's 102. This palette contains 6 pans. 3 are blushes and the other 3 are for highlight. The blushes look very deep in tone, and I actually expect these to be pigmented. If there's anything I learned from the previous blush palette, is to not take these blushes for granted. Same thing with these highlighters. These were a lot more beaming than I expected them to be. Like I said, I had never tried SUQQU before, and for some reason I just thought these were going to be a lot more toned down, but no, that is not the case. So I'm expecting these highlighters to also be very glowy and to look nice and buttery on the skin. Right now, these products are only available through Selfridges, so I will have them linked down below. So what I think I'm going to do is apply these 2 colors on one side of my face, these 2 on the other. Check out how it's looking. Then I'll clean off my face and finish off with these last 2 shades. I feel like these last 2 will complement my eye look perhaps a little bit better, so we'll save those for the end. Now I went ahead and pulled out my Surratt highlighter and cheek brushes, so I'll be using these today to apply all of the products in this pan. Now I like to start off with highlight, so let's jump right in and start with this shade here. This is a little bit intimidating for me because based on previous experiences, these tones do not suit me too well. If they're too yellow, they look a little funky on me. So we'll see how this looks. You see how glowy is that? Oh my gosh, this is, you guys, this is taking me back to the 101 palette. Oh my goodness, my cheeks look wet. Or my cheek, I only have it on one cheek. My cheek looks gorgeous. Oh my gosh, and this color is, it's actually not that bad. I thought it was gonna be a little bit more yellow. I mean, it is, but I actually do see myself wearing this. Beautiful. Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. Okay, so I'm wiping off my brush, but in the meantime, I'm going to admire this highlight. Oh, so gorgeous. Okay, so next I'm gonna go into this one. This one looks a little bit deep. So hopefully I can make it work. Okay, this is definitely a little bit on the deeper side. Maybe this is a highlighter that I'll be mixing because on its own, it doesn't work for my skin tone very well. But you can see it's still very glowy, not as glowy as the first one I applied, but because this is lighter in tone, so on my skin tone, it is going to look more beaming than this side. This one almost looks like if I have a bruise here. Actually, I'll go ahead and pick up a little bit of this and a little bit of this and see if maybe those two mixed. This is why I do enjoy face palettes like this. It just makes it more user-friendly because we can mix shades here and there to customize it for our skin tone. And mixed like that, it actually looks a lot better. I like went way too high there. Mixing it with that first shade is definitely the only way I'll be able to get away with this one. I am not complaining though, because all this means is that it's also going to suit those with a deeper complexion. If you have a lighter complexion, you have this shade to focus with mostly, and then you can dip into one of these two to change up the shade a little bit if you wish to. So okay, let's go ahead and add some blush. This blush right here is like a terracotta shade. So calling my name, I am a little bit intimidated because it's pigmented. So start back here. Oh yeah, that is a beautiful color. A little bit more. And these are buildable, so if you have a lighter skin tone, go in with a lighter hand, a really fluffy brush, so that you're only applying a little at a time. And then if you have a darker complexion, you can build up until it suits your needs. So that's something too that I want to give credit on these palettes for, and I guess I pretty much already said it. You can make them work for yourself. You'll just have to figure out how to make it work best for you. Alright, so now I'm going to go into this blush here. This is like a fuchsia shade almost. Just a little wash of color there. I'm going to pick up a little bit more. So that one's pretty. I mean, I definitely prefer this side a lot more. I think the highlighter and the blush on this side both look better on me. So I'm wiping my brush because I want to add a little bit more of this terracotta blush on this side. I feel like I didn't build it up enough. Okay, there we go. I want the intensity to match my right cheek. Definitely love this combo. Really beautiful. It's like the perfect fall cheek I have going on over here. Love it. Alright, I wiped off my brushes, I removed the highlighter and blush from both of my cheeks, and now to apply the last two of the palette. So let's start off with the highlighter. This one looks like it might be a little bit too dark for me as well, but we will see. I hope not. No, this is perfecto for me. I mean, I know you guys are probably like, this girl is exaggerating. No guys, no I'm not. Look at this cheek. Look at that. Look at that glow. Do not tell me it does not look stunning. I picked up some more, but I'm gonna be very careful and just lightly apply it with the tip of the brush. Oh yes. That is beautiful. A little bit right here. Some on the forehead. This is definitely a winner for me. Oh, that is gorgeous. Gosh, this is a highlight that just makes you want to smile. This formula just does it for me. This is how I felt about the highlighters on the 101 palette. I loved all of them in there, and I am loving these as well. So let's go ahead and try the blush now. This is also going to be my go-to blush from this palette. I really like that terracotta one, but I think this one actually suits me better. Of course, it all depends on the look that I'm going for, but that is beautiful. 2 layers of that is all I need. And I was actually pretty okay with the initial layer that I had applied, but I feel like it takes a lot for me to be satisfied with the amount of blush I have on. Eyeshadow palettes I love and I'm very happy with. Blush palette I also love and I'm also very happy with. I will say I was a little bit afraid when I was going to start using the blush palette, because I remember when I was swatching it, the blushes actually felt quite dry. But once I started applying it, I had no issues. I didn't see any patchiness, nothing of that sort. It's really just about customizing that palette to your needs, and I think it's beautiful. Originally, I knew I was going to love it because I love that first palette. It was really about the shades for me. Seeing them side by side, the first one and this darker one, if I had to pick one, I would go with the 101. I just feel like those shades just look a lot better on me, but it's not to take away from the 102. It's also beautiful. I also love the shades in here as well. I'm just, you know, putting myself in the situation where if I had to pick one, then I would pick 101. But again, I don't want to take away from 102 because it is beautiful. Alright guys, that is it as far as today's video. Have you tried SUQQU before? Let me know what are your favorite products, because I'm still getting to know this brand a little bit. So if you have anything that you would recommend to me or that you feel that I must try out, let me know, because your girl is happy so far with SUQQU, and I'm looking forward to their official holiday release because those products look gorgeous. So you bet I will be trying those out as well as soon as they become available. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe in case you have not yet, so you do not miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time.